What up, though? This is AM Opinionated. I am your host. I go by a plethora of names, monikers, and one appellation this morning. Label me as Negus the God, right? If this is your first time listening to an episode of AM Opinionated, welcome. If you've been rocking with me, welcome back, and thank you. Salute to all of you who have been rocking with AM Opinionated and Notoriously Opinionated. I greatly appreciate it. Continue to support AM Opinionated, Notoriously Opinionated, as well as Areas of Human Activity, of which you can find on Spotify. You can find Areas of Activity on Spotify. Hit the like, subscribe, share, all that. Go to YouTube. Check out my YouTube channel, Notoriously Opinionated. Subscribe. Hit the like button, share, do all that. It's all appreciated. It's all going to come back for the good because I believe wholeheartedly from the bottom of my heart that to whom much is given, much is expected. And there's always been a lot that has been expected of me, and I have no problem whatsoever with giving back, right? So remember, absolutely obliterate that like button and subscribe button. Subscribe to so everybody that I've been sending invites to Areas of Human Activity. Listen, subscribe if you like what you're hearing. If you don't like what you're hearing, if you do not appreciate the podcast, salute to you too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own notorious opinion at certain points in times, right? And if you're just not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. Everything ain't for everybody, right? No hard feelings. Okay. So today on AIM Opinionated, I think I'm gonna talk about now. I've been for real, I've been bouncing between a bunch of different things I wanted to talk about this morning, and I think I have settled on talking about now. I'll explain here in a minute. All right. So what are we gonna get to first? My first opinion. My first opinion this morning is about this February fight between the 50-0 undefeated multi-belt holder Floyd Money Mayweather fighting a highly anticipated opponent of Logan Paul. So if you're like me, you're like, who in the absolute fuck is Logan Paul? Great question. I asked myself that same thing. I was like, hold up. Ain't Logan Paul the dude that Nate Robinson just fought? No, he's not. It's his brother. So Logan Paul and Jake Paul are both brothers. They are both YouTube sensations, apparently. They are both YouTube sensations. Apparently, Logan Paul got his notoriety because he filmed a dead body in like Japan or something like that. I don't listen. I don't make these stories up. I just report them. So they became these YouTube celebrities and YouTube darlings and whatnot. So now you would think that Logan Paul, again, the brother of Jake Paul, the dude that was on Triller during the Mike Tyson RJJ fight, that there would be something that he had to be or do to secure a fight with a professional, undefeated, legendary fighter. Floyd Mayweather is 50-0. He has never lost a fight. In pugilism past, right? You got to do something. You got to be at a certain level to fight certain cats. You couldn't just walk off the street and get a fight with the WBO champion. It just never has happened like that. And so how this cat somehow just walked off the street 0-1, mind you, because he has had a professional fight before, right? And I say professional not because he is a professional or knows what he's doing at all, but because you got paid to get in the ring and fight somebody, right? You got paid to fight this other YouTube cat, you know what I'm saying? And he twirled you, right? You're 0-1. You done lost the only fight you ever been in the ring. Now, you would think that it would be Logan Paul that called out Floyd Mayweather. You would be incorrect. For some reason, Floyd Mayweather called out a YouTube star to get in a boxing ring. Like, now, for real, while I didn't necessarily agree with the decision of Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor McGregor, I understood it from a business point. From a business standpoint, I completely agreed with it. I was like, shh, that is a multi-million-dollar fight. I feel that, right? But as a boxing fan, I was like, is this how far we've come in the boxing community to where, you can just take the best that the UFC has to offer, throw some gloves on him and tell him to come into the ring and fight a professional boxer? And now, but like I said, I understood that, I understood it. At least Conor McGregor had a decent enough stand up to be able to withhold or resist or even do some nice things in the ring. He does have a combat fighting history, right? At least there was that. And so I took the whole, back and forth bickering celebrity stuff with a grain of salt. But this one, really, like Floyd Mayweather's fighting Logan Paul. Where have we come? Now, Mike Tyson said that he actually thanks the YouTube boxers for revitalizing almost boxing because UFC was kicking boxing's ass, which is true. Which is true. Dana White fucking he fucking him up. You know what I'm saying? Dana White ain't playing. They over there getting that dough. That dough is not being for real distributed to the people that's actually doing the fighting. But UFC as a whole and the pay-per-views at UFC, they ain't making money. But to just get to fighting, for legends to be just fighting YouTubers, come on, man. You're not gonna see Sugar Ray Leonard coming out and fighting no YouTube star, man. He got too much class for that. You know what I'm saying? Sugar Ray got way too much class. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Mike Tyson would fight a YouTuber. I don't think Roy Jones Jr. would fight a YouTuber. I just don't, because that's beneath them, But anyway, but Nate Robinson still got knocked the hell out by somebody who can't really even fight. Still. And now the brother of that cat is about to fight a world champion. Okay. So I can't even believe he got the fight. I really can't. All right. So today in Human Past, today marks the birth of one of the funniest individuals that ever graced a stage, that ever walked the face of this earth. My man, Red Fox, aka Fred G. Sanford. and the G stands for going places. You know, man, Fred Sanford, Red Fox, is responsible for a lot that has gone on over the last half century in dealing with comedy. You know, Red Fox was a legend. You know, and everybody from Richard Pryor to Eddie Murphy, from Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle, they all give homage to Red Fox. Red Fox, when you can be funny on audio, you funny for real. Because it's some comedians nowadays, they can't be funny if they can't be seen, because a lot of their comedy, they have to, you know, certain facial expressions. You know, like Kevin Hart is like a legend for his facial expressions, you know. And so a lot of comics wouldn't even made it without facial expressions if you couldn't see them. Red Fox had a large following off of audio, you know, just his record spins was crazy, you know. And so shout out to Red Fox. Happy Earth Day, Red Fox. You know, one of the funniest individuals, one of the funniest men, let alone black men, to ever walk the face of this earth. Spawned a whole generation, a couple of generations of comics that all give homage to Red Fox. Also, so I'm gonna talk on this briefly because this is something that I'm gonna bring up. Oh yeah, hold up. Happy Earth Day to Deacon Jones. You know what I'm saying? My man, whenever I see him on Madden, I gotta get him. You know, I gotta get Deacon Jones on my squad because he wreaks havoc in the backfield. So but today is Deacon Jones Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, Deacon Jones. One of the best defensive ends that ever played the game. You know, that man was a terror. I believe he played for the Rams, the LA Rams. No. Yeah, I believe he played for the LA Rams. So briefly, what I wanted to talk about in regards to human past is, and it may not have happened today, but it happened on a day that ends in Y. So I'm gonna hit it up right now. This is something I'm gonna talk about in more detail in another episode, more than likely. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do it on AM Opinionated in the future, maybe next week. But what I'm gonna do is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna touch on it briefly right now, and then I'm going to go into more detail a little later, right? But so American history, and this kind of goes into why I keep saying that all of human past is not accurately detailed by American or world history, because American history will tell you, or will have you believing, that the pilgrims that came over here on the Mayflower in 1620 were the first ones to settle, because they settled New England, right? And so they came over here to settle a New England. That's why so many of these news around here, there's New York, New England, all these, you know, all these news. But nobody ever talks about the African slave foundations of the Mayflower. And while it has not necessarily been proven that there were slaves actually on the Mayflower came to America to engage in the slave trade. Why do I say that? Because the colony of Virginia had already been here for probably about 15 years. The colony, not even that long, not that long necessarily. The colony of Virginia got here in, no, they were chartered, I believe, in 1606 and actually colonized in 1607, right? Mayflower got here around 1620. And so the colony of Virginia was well invested in the slave trade. Well invested in the slave trade. There were already slaves over here from Africa and the Caribbean before the Mayflower even touched, right? Maybe before the Mayflower was even commissioned. There were slaves already over here, right? So that's kind of one of the things I'll be talking about when I'm saying that there is a difference between world and American history and human past, and all we've been hearing is the American history and the world history from the perspective of the bird in an African proverb. And so until the lion gets to talk and tell his story, you know, we're not gonna get too far, right? But yeah, so that's why I'm always talking about human past, and I already talk about American history, unless I'm talking about colonization. If I'm talking about colonization, if I'm talking about things that really do specify American history, then I'll talk about American history. If I'm talking about things that about colonization and it's about world history, then I'll talk about world history. But when I'm talking about Black people, I'm talking about human past, because you can't expect the colonizer to tell the true and real story of the Black people, of the indigenous Africans on each and every one of these continents, and call it American or world history. You know, I think it was a book that was written that was like 1,500 pages, and when it got to the contributions, the history of people of African descent, it was like 5 pages. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. That's it. In a 1,500 page book, people of African descent got 5 pages. Yeah. Anyway, so I want to talk about now, right? What's going on now? So I read a book years ago. I read a book about 27 years ago called As a Man Thinketh, right? Now, in a lot of correctional facilities, a lot of times, sometimes they're in county jails, most times they're in state correctional facilities, federal correctional facilities. You're going to find this book somewhere, As a Man Thinketh. It's going to be in some correctional facility, right? It is almost, dare I say, required reading, you know what I'm saying, when you are incarcerated. I read this book the first time. There are a few books that I've read over the years that I've read more than once. As a Man Thinketh was one of those transitional books, right? And then around 2000, I came across the complete works of the author of As a Man Thinketh, James Allen, called it was called actually The Complete Works of James Allen is what it was called. But I read As a Man Thinketh, and immediately after that I read Poverty to Power, and I thought those were the only 2 books he had ever written. I was mistaken. So James Allen had written a gaggle of poems. He'd written a plethora of books, you know, that I was completely unaware of. He had articles, essays, just a lot of writings, and it helped me. The writings of James Allen helped me. So I got the complete works of James Allen, and there was something that James Allen would say in one of the writings that that I gravitated towards, right? And I wrote it down, and I wrote it on this little note right here. And this is what I kind of wanted to bring up today. So it says, and this is a quote by James Allen out of one of his works. Now is the reality in which time is contained. It is more and greater than time. It is an ever-present reality. It knows neither past nor future and is eternally potent and substantial. Every minute, every day, every year is a dream as soon as it is past, and exists only as an imperfect and unsubstantial picture in the memory, if it be not entirely obliterated. Past and future are dreams. Now is a reality. All things are now. All power, all possibility, all action is now. Not to act and accomplish now is not to act and accomplish at all. To live in thoughts of what you might have done or in dreams of what you mean to do, this is folly. But to put away regret, to anchor anticipation, and to do and to work now, that is wisdom. So I appreciate that. And I appreciated that because I have said the same thing. I said the same thing that James Allen very eloquently put in this passage before. So it's like I used to say that my thoughts men have thought before and will eternally think again, because my thoughts are not my own. James Allen's thoughts are really not his own. You just say it in the way that you say it. Some people may say it differently than he and I, but the message is the same. It's like, have you ever really just thought about the fact that what is the difference between the past, the present, and the future, right? It's like, because every moment is and can be considered the past and the future. It's like, now we're in the past, now we're in the future, now we're in the past, now we're in the future, now we're in the past, now we're in the future. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to try to grab it and make it right now. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all you can do is live in what he calls the ever-present reality. I call it ever-present now, and so now is really all you got. So, and this particular topic is kind of like the 9 areas of human activity. You can't escape it. You cannot escape now, just like you cannot escape falling into you can't escape your daily actions, your daily thoughts, your daily things falling into one of the areas of human activity. You cannot escape the fact that what you do falls into this ever-present now. No matter what it is, no matter what you do, it's going to fall in this ever-present now, right? And so all topics fall within the ever-present now. Everything that I could talk about. So if I want to talk about leadership, if you want to be a leader now. Don't wait. If you want to do something with your life, do it now. Don't wait. If this is something that's important to you, if you want to be a learner and you want to learn something from a book, read that book now. Don't wait. So it's like he said, all power, all possibility, all action is now. To not act and accomplish now is to not act and accomplish at all. So if you're going to do something, do it now. Be productive about it. Do it, and don't apologize for doing it, because when you're hungry, if you wait, to satiate your hunger, you're going to feel your stomach start to grumble. You're going to get a stomach ache. If you wait too long, your head's going to start to hurt and you're going to feel weak, right? But if you take care of that hunger now, none of that other negative stuff happens. Why? Because everything and everyone and every experience is all food to you. Everything is food. Everything is food. How people treat you is food. Positive and negative. Your successes are food. Your failures are food. You know, like I'm quick to say I've never lost nothing in my life. I've never lost. You know, I either win or I learn. One of the two. I don't lose. I either win or I learn. Why? I didn't win. I don't lose. As a coach, I don't lose. As a player, I don't lose. As a man, I don't lose. As a boxer, I really didn't lose. Like in reality, you know what I'm saying? Like the real physical, you know, I'm gonna tell you about that one of these days. You know, I'll tell you about my boxing and fighting exploits one of these days, maybe. But in all seriousness, everything that happens to you is food to you. And so to not eat now, whether that food is physical food, whether that food is mental food, whether that food is spiritual food, to not do it now, all you doing is hurting your body. You know, that's all you doing is hurting your body. So I'm gonna end with that. Thank you for watching another episode of AM Opinionated. It's been your man, Nate Goose the God, man. Check me out on Notoriously Opinionated tonight at 8:30 with me and my co-host, Negus Kafaru, aka Hero. We got some intriguing guests for you tonight. It's gonna be lit. I can't wait. Like I can't wait. I got a slate full of guests for the next few months that I'm like Wednesdays when I wake up, I'm just excited. I just get excited on Wednesdays now, you know, because I got a lot of guests. We're gonna be talking about a lot of intriguing, interesting, and thought-provoking things, and we're gonna kick it. You know, we're gonna kick it too. It's not just about you can't just be serious all the time, but life is too serious to be taken lightly, you know, and we got to act right now. So there's things that need to happen right now because there's things happening to us right now. But don't forget to check me out on YouTube, Notoriously Opinionated. Check me out on Spotify, Areas of Human Activity. Tune in tonight at 8:30. It's going to be lit. You dig? And like the ancestor Marcus Garvey said, a strong man is strong anywhere at any time. Support small and black businesses. Patronize them. Keep the black dollar in the black community more than 6 hours, you know. And so I always say seize the moment because you might not make it through the day. Seize the right now. Peace. It's been Negus to God. This is AM Opinionated. I'm out.